how do we do this? How do we do this really? I think that's pretty funny. So, I mean, seriously, if you know Jack and he's willing to give me $60 million, we'll solve the problem and I'll get rich. And that's good for everyone, or at least me. Um, Here's what we do. Remember, talked about the Philharmonics. What they did is they went so far as to putting carpet on the stage, so that there was no way for anybody to know ahead of time the race or the gender of the person who was playing, or even the age, because I think ageism is a thing as well, right? They didn't know. So the question for me is, there's a couple things that puzzled me as I'm thinking about this, because I think it's a very important issue. I think diversity is a very important issue, not just for what I would call diversity bingo of just checking off people's race and colors and sex and whatever. It's because diversity of ideas is what makes us innovative. It helps us financially. It's the right thing to do. So how do we carpet the stage in this, in the real world outside the Philharmonic? Well, there's a few things we can do. One, a lot of our contact in job search is resumes. And I just spent this last weekend looking at a bunch of different resumes. You can tell a lot about somebody just from the resume. When you think about things like race and age and sex, right? So if I do have biases, which we all do, because we're human beings, those biases can start to make a play, even though I don't know it, right? These are hidden biases. So what should we do? Here's what I propose. When we're advertising for a job, we don't need somebody's name on that resume. We can obfuscate it. We can take it out before the people who hire see it, because that's not important what your name is. But your name is going to give me your ethnicity. Except for, and Sue won't mind me on this, but Sue Bose, you get a pass on this one. You're not going to get mad at me for saying that, but some folks you can tell their race by their name because they have ethnic names. Addresses. Your address is going to give you a socioeconomic status. In the Bay Area, we have certain areas that are, heavily one race or another race, and these are fairly known to people. I don't know if this plays into people's thing, but we don't need your address. What we need to know is, can you make it to work? This should be removed. Phone numbers should be removed, and I would say colleges as well. All of this stuff should be taken off before somebody starts looking at a resume and trying to hire somebody, because we need to carpet the stage. We need to make sure, we need to ensure that there is nothing other than the talents of the people here that is presented. And I think we should have hiring committees and not individuals. I think committees have a tendency, I don't like them, going through the job process, but I think committees have a tendency to check the biases. And we also, if we're smart, we would create diverse hiring committees, right? So that we could check all our biases. I think we should have third-party involvement. If we're not doing a good job of screening people, because we're screening out people for certain things, we should have third parties helping us with this. We should remove from jobs, this is a big one, by the way, remove from jobs as many prerequisites as possible. How many people have looked for a job? I mean, most of the people I work with, they're looking for work, 90% or more, where they have everything but the kitchen sink in the job descriptions and titles and the prerequisites, right? An entry-level job that needs 5 years experience, that's not an entry-level job. We need somebody in HR who understands this, and we need to remove this kitchen sink philosophy of we need everything in the world, because it's not going to work. What it's going to do is it's going to screen out those very people that you want for diversity. Because this is one of the number one things. This is what we hear, from the companies that I've talked to is, well, we would love to hire more people, more minorities, more women, but they don't have the talent. Well, because you're putting the bar for the talent way too high for the jobs that you have. You need to lower that bar. I would go so far as not even doing live interviews anymore, because the whole live interview process, especially the face-to-face interview, is filled with so many biases. I would go to maybe some kind of question and answer transcript or something like that. These are all things, I don't know if these will work. These are all ideas I could come up with rather quickly, because what I'm saying is we've got to find the equivalent of carpeting the stage, but we're not doing it. No HR department is doing these things that I'm aware of. Do they work? I don't know if we know. Have they tried? No. You cannot get different results by doing the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity.